The world is a stage, so is Emile, Jean Jacque Rousseau's most significant book on education, after Plato's Republic. In Emile, Rousseau has set up a stage both for his actors and readers to step onto. As the characters go through a rite of passage, the readers themselves are engaged in a journey of rediscovering the elements of nature and their contributions to the intellectual makeup and morals of a person. He introduced a new system of education not yet named at that time, which later became the basis for an educational revolution. For deeper appreciation of his writings, it is important that we recognize the presence of three key elements in all of the 5 books of Emile: the message, the sender, and the receiver. It is through this medium that Rousseau transmits and brings to life his literary context and poetic expressions in different stages as illustrated on the 5 books of Emile, ranging from infancy, age of nature, pre-adolescence, puberty, and adulthood. To further illustrate natural learning, let us consider the sender as A, message as B, and the receiver as C. We see in the projection of this message a triple movement which makes combinations of interfering relationships lead to the same identity. In this sense, the message repeats the essential relationships. A plus B is equals to B plus C is equals to A plus C. Each combination is identical to the other. The result is Emile's appearance as a reflection of the master, a synthesis of master and nature. 3 moments define themselves in the projection of the message: one of sending, one of absorption, in which Emile comes to reflect the master's teachings, and one of static realization expressible as the equation C is equals to B, since A is equals to B and A is equals to C. In Emile, Rousseau recommended a type of education which at that time was yet unknown, an education system that was natural, child-centered, and experience-based. His intent was to protect the children from a corrupting society and allows him to develop naturally. This method is now known as discovery learning. Emile was given the freedom to explore and interact with nature. When Emile behaved inappropriately, his punishment was administered by nature, not by his tutor. On one occasion, Emile broke the window pane in his bedroom. Instead of giving him a whipping, which was common response to misbehavior at that time, Rousseau ignored the event and let him experience the resulting cold, wind, and rain. Rousseau's teaching style in educating Emile has sparked a revolution in the educational system. His call for a right kind of educational system, both for the individual and social needs, has paved the way for what is now known as the learner-centered education. Learner-centered education is defined as a perspective that couples a focus on individual learners, taking cognizance of their heredity, experiences, perspectives, backgrounds, talents, interests, capacities, and needs, with a focus on learning, using the best available knowledge about learning and how it occurs, and about teaching practices that are most effective in promoting the highest levels of motivation, learning, and achievement for all learners. The book Emile, however, is not just about education. It aims to balance the equilibrium of achieving happiness both from the body politic and family life. As a matter of fact, Rousseau's assertion in Emile that good social institutions are the ones that know how to nature man, to take him away from his absolute existence so as to give him a relative one, and to carry the self into common unity, is an assertion that he carried in almost all of his writings, from the social compact, discourse on inequality, and the theme of new alloys played by duly. Emile actually sends a message to the reader that the best teacher there is the mother, That is why Sophie's education should not be underscored. Contrary to those who believe that Rousseau deprives women of their capacity to reason as moral agents, my opinion is of the contrary. Fact is, Rousseau expects a woman to make rational and moral judgment, to see the difference between appearance and substance, to see the big picture. Let us take this quote from Emile. She becomes the judge of her judges. She decides when she ought to submit herself to them and when she ought to take exception to them. Here Rousseau speaks of the dangers of amour propre, the unhealthy dependency on the opinion of others. Here, Rousseau is making Sophie realize that her education must not trap her into an unreflective dependency upon public opinion, but she must always take public opinion into account. In other words, Sophie must exist both inside and outside of the opinion of others. Sophie's education also speaks of feminine disassembling, another role she plays in order to govern herself, to govern her relationship with Emile, and to govern him. Female disassembling is what makes a woman hold the family together, detaching herself from the whole in order to have a plain consciousness of what is happening, in order to address things and become a part of the whole again once things are resolved. Sophie's education demonstrates the inevitability, desirability, and difficulties of a divided self for the achievement and maintenance of the happiness and freedom Rousseau sought for human beings. The problems inherent in the interdependence in the family unit is very well portrayed by Sophie, and the complexities of family life tainted with corruption from society and callous conscience was expounded in Emile and Sophie, a sequel to Emile. God makes all things good. Man meddles with them, and they become